All right, so in the last videos, we talked about the role of A and what this number right here in your function, if it's by itself, will do for your graph. If you're just looking at A, it does a couple of things. The first thing, it tells you whether it's going to open your parabola, opens up or down, and how wide it is. Now we're going to add to our function, and let's talk about the role of C. Now, if you're wondering why I skipped B, that's because when B is involved, it's a little more complicated. So we're just going to do A and then C, and then B will be in section 2. I got a piece of hair that's like just hanging. Okay, I'll figure it out in a second. Do y'all see that? I see it in the thing. I can't. Okay, and I got it. All right. Okay, better. So in your notes, you have another box, and you know that whenever something's in a box, it is important. And I'm going to share with you what C does. C is the number that doesn't have an X variable, so it's just going to be a constant. That's your number C. So the value of C, this is what you put in your box, determines the position of the parabola. Now, when you just have at the first term, your parabola is going to sit right at the origin. So it's going to sit right in the center of your coordinate plane. But when you have a C involved, that parabola is going to move. Now, depending on what type of number you have for C determines if it's going to move up or down. So here's your next sentence. And let me move this so you can kind of see my blank there. If C is a positive number, then your graph will shift up. Okay, it'll just shift up whatever units you're given. Okay, and then the opposite occurs when C is negative. The graph will shift down. Now that doesn't mean it's going to be upside down. That just means that your graph just moves down. So that's going to be the next fill in the blank. So that's what your C does. So if I ask you on your mastery check in a couple of days, what does A do? Hopefully you'll say A opens it up, tells if it opens up or opens down. Your C says if it shifts up or shifts down. Those are two totally different things. So what I want to do next is let's try a couple of examples of what your graph would actually look like. So remember, we're not going to do anything with the B. We're just going to have the A term and the C term. So for example 1, I want you to write y equals 2x squared minus 3. All right, so this is what we're going to do first. Now, I have my A term, I have my C term. My A is a positive number, which means the graph is going to open up. My C, you see that's a negative 3. That means that it's going to be open up but shifting down. So all we can do next is set up your XY table. Now, I told you what my X values were going to be in the first couple of examples. It hasn't changed. I want X to be 0, 1, I don't remember what order I used, 2, negative 1, and negative 2. What do you do next? Plug in these values for X into the equation to get your different pairs of Y. So this is plug and chug. A lot of this is mental math. I'm just going to set it up. Okay? And then in the next video, you're going to fill in. You're going to tell me what goes into these the Y values. So I've got when X is 0, 1, 2, and then if you remember my trick, my positive 1 and negative 1 should be the same. My positive 2 and negative 2 should be the same. So in the next video, I want you, before you start it, you go ahead and tell me what each one of these equals to.